Hello, everybody. It's Miss Carter again. Today I'm here to talk to you about the cell cycle, also known as cell division and mitosis. Um, in the last lesson, Miss Mills talked to you about how DNA must be replicated or made a copy of in order to, whenever new cells are made, you got to have a copy of the DNA that was in there before. So, this is basically how that process happens. It's called the cell cycle. And we're going to start by watching this kind of video slash game here. And I'm going to attach this also to the video or to the notes, sorry, so that you can see it as well. But basically, what it starts off with is you talk about how we have a normal body cell. And remember that this is all the cells except for the sex cells. So this does not include the sperm or the egg cells. This is just your normal body cells, such as skin, heart, brain, all of those. Okay. In order for them to replicate or make another cell, they are going to go through this process called mitosis and cell cycle, and they will make two daughter cells, which you can see here in the illustration. So the first part of this is something called interphase, and interphase is what's going to happen before mitosis happens, but it's still part of the cell cycle. And basically, during this phase, it says here, is when the proteins are going to be made, when the DNA is going to be copied, and so on. All right, so you can see there's the nucleus that it's talking about. So we're going to click this to see what's going on inside of the nucleus. Here you can see there are two stringy pieces of DNA in the nucleus. Those stringy little pieces are called the chromatin. The chromatin basically are going to be strands of the DNA that are going to have all of that DNA information that we need to be able to copy. So it says, what is uncoiled stringy DNA? It is chromatin. There we go. We got that correct. All right. So it says that this means it has two DNA molecules. This is a very simple cell here, just one simple cell. Each of your cells has 46 pieces of chromatin typically, but we're just looking at a single strand of DNA to be able to show the basics of it. Before mitosis can happen, we have to copy our DNA. So if we click on each of those, at that point, the DNA has been copied, because if you're making a daughter cell or a new cell that has the same information, you got to have a copy of it, because you got to have one piece in each daughter cell. So which of the following are true statements? DNA replicates during interphase. That is true. We just replicated. We just copied it. Chromatin is made up of DNA. We said that earlier. And that genes are found in this DNA. So all of those are true. And we continue on. All right, so now the intro to mitosis. Once interphase is finished, and interphase is going to take the majority of the time that it takes for your cells to make copies of themselves. Mitosis is going to be a very small section, which you're going to see in the notes that are attached to this. And this is when making more cells is needed for growth, development, and tissue repair. So in other words, whenever somebody is growing, cells making copies of themselves. Whenever old tissue or old cells die, you have to make new copies of them. So this is a process that goes on throughout your entire life. Different ways each time, but it does go on. So this right here would be just a single zygote, but we want to make it bigger, so we must do mitosis. It says mitosis ultimately results in the formation of two daughter cells, which we saw earlier. So what do organisms do, why do organisms do mitosis? To make more body cells, like skin cells or liver cells, to make gametes, sperm or eggs, just for fun, or all of the above? Well, we said earlier that this is a process that goes for everything except for sex cells, so it does not include the sperm or the eggs. I guess they could do it for fun, but that's not really why our cells do it. So the correct answer is A. Okay, they have to make more. So mitosis is divided up into 4 phases. These are the 4 phases right here: prophase, metaphase, anaphase, and telophase. Those are in the notes that are going to be attached to this as well, so you'll have that information already there for you. The correct order of it, and this is important, the correct order, the way that it happens, is prophase, metaphase, anaphase, and telophase. Okay, so it is letter C. There we go. All right, so we're going to start mitosis with prophase. So during prophase, an important event is that chromosomes condense and become visible. This means that the chromatin get packaged up so that it is easier to move around. All right, so we're going to see that happening. So we're going to click on each chromatin to make it condense and form a tightly packed chromosome. And there they go. Okay, so now that is prophase that's happening there. Those DNA are going to basically be prepared for the copying, for the cell being created. And now we have 2 chromosomes. So we got, just like what we've been talking about, our genotype here, big G, little g. Okay, so each of those are chromosomes. Also notice that each chromosome has 2 halves. Each half of a chromosome is called a sister chromatid, and the sister chromatids of a chromosome are identical. So this is one sister chromatid, this is another. This is a different sister chromatid, this is another. Okay, these 2 are identical, these 2 are identical. In order to divide up the DNA, we need to be able to move the chromosomes to opposite ends of the cells. So we're going to move the chromosomes to opposite ends. Okay, just did that. Did you notice the chromosomes are trapped in the nucleus? Because of this, the nucleus disintegrates during prophase. All right, so the nucleus here, which we've talked about before, is the protective barrier, keeps everything safe. During the cell cycle, it does go away. All right, so we click on it, and there it goes. All right, so in metaphase, which is the next phase after prophase, metaphase, anaphase, telophase. In metaphase, the chromosomes line up single file down the middle of the cell. So we're going to drag them down the middle. There we go. What happens during metaphase? Chromosomes separate from another. Chromosomes line up single file down the middle. Chromosomes become visible, or all of the above. All right, well, they are going to line up down the middle. Okay, so that is correct. And then we are down to the next phase, anaphase. Anaphase, in anaphase, sister chromatids split up. Click and drag each sister chromatid to opposite poles. Okay, and the poles are basically the opposite sides here. So, kind of like the north and south pole, you can think of this dotted line here as your equator. So we have to move, if it'll move for me, there we go. Each of the sister cells to opposite sides. Okay, so it's down with the north pole or south pole and north pole, and that'd be like the equator there. What happens in anaphase? The sister chromatids separate and move toward opposite poles. All right. And then finally, we're on to telophase. Telophase is the last part of mitosis here. Telophase, 2 diploid daughter cells are being formed, okay, or identical baby daughter cells. All right, so let's see how this is accomplished. One thing that happens during telophase is that each newly formed cell makes a nucleus. Click on the chromosomes to create nuclei. All right, so we got a new nucleus that forms around each of them, because remember, it's got to be protected in the new cell. All right. Also during telophase, the chromosomes uncoil to make chromatin again. Click on each chromosome to make it uncoil. All right, so they go back to their stringy self. What happens during telophase? Each newly formed cell gets a nucleus, chromosomes uncoil, and 2 diploid cells are being formed. So we've got a lot going on in telophase, and that is letter D there. Maybe. Come on. Well, it is D, but it won't let me click on it. There we go. All right. And then after mitosis, the last phase there is called cytokinesis. Cytokinesis sometimes is looped together with telophase because it's kind of like on the back end of telophase, and usually at the same time. So we click and drag the membrane to divide the cells. So basically, cytokinesis is when they completely separate. Okay, so now you have 2 separate cells, each of them with a nucleus, each of them with their own DNA. Bam, you got daughter cells. All right, so you have finished mitosis and cytokinesis. You got 2 identical daughter cells. after mitosis and cytokinesis are complete, which of the following are true? It says 4 genetically different daughter cells have been produced. Nope. 4 genetically identical daughter cells have been produced. Nope. We're on to 2 of them. So 2 genetically different daughter cells have been produced. So the correct answer then would be it's got to be 2, and they are genetically identical. So it would be D. All right. So I'm not going to go through all this, but you guys can when you play around with this. The key here that I want you to see is all of these phases here. This is the order that they go in. You can see interphase. It's a huge part of the replication. And then everything else just takes place in this small little section here. All right, so all of the steps are lined out for you here in the notes that you can use. So your assignment for today is to use these notes and fill in your page that the teacher has given you. So you're going to put basically the information that goes down next to each picture onto your own notes. You then need to keep those notes because you will get to use them and you're going to need them for your quiz later on, as well as a couple of assignments later on. Then once your notes are finished, your assignment is the cell cycle worksheet, which you can see here. You're going to just put down the correct letters in each of the first 10. And then down below there, you're going to use these pictures for 1 through 5 below here. Just put in the correct letter. And then you've got 2 short answers that you can use your notes for, or if you were paying attention, this video I also answered. Okay, so I think that's it for you. So again, just recap the things you need to do today is complete your notes, and you have a paper copy that the teacher has given you. You're going to fill them out from these note slide sheet, and then you're going to complete this on Classroom and turn everything in. Except for your notes you hold on to. If you have any questions, please let me know. You can email me or you can ask Miss Mills as well. And I think that's it. See you guys. Bye.